President William Ruto maintains that the controversial 3% housing levy proposed in the Finance Bill 2023 will cure the housing shortage in the country. However, critics point out that the government's idea of collecting money from wages to construct houses will disadvantage Kenyans already servicing mortgages or homeowners who will have to bear the additional cost regardless if the bill is passed by Parliament. Ayub Abdikadir has more.
If passed by the National Assembly, the Finance Bill 2023, which contains the housing levy, will see all employees contribute 3% of their salaries and employers matching the same to the housing fund kitty. President William Ruto has defended the housing levy, saying the move will address the housing crisis in Kenya and especially among the poor, with the government planning to construct at least 200,000 units of houses annually. The head of state says the housing project has two sections: social housing and affordable housing, explaining that social housing targets those with low income, especially from informal settlements where they will get to pay affordable rent in better houses.
So far, you have no exemption, whether you have a mortgage or you already have one or two other houses, depending on what your present situations are. It simply means that regardless of whether you have a house and are paying a mortgage, this is an additional cost that you'll have to bear, because the law as crafted today does not allow anybody with a wage an exemption.
According to economists, the responsibility is passed on to the employer to deduct the 3% levy, and together with their contributions on the payroll remit the same to the Housing Development Fund. However, the employer will have no claim on the remittance, with an assumption that the contribution only benefits the employee.
Some employers will determine whether they actually need to keep the same people in work or even casualize labor. So if you're a casual laborer with only 2 weeks at a time or a week at a time, they might be able to actually do that, try to circumvent these rules in that way. So definitely it's going to have some unintended consequences on the employment, especially because the employer cannot claim the money.
Critics say, according to the 2019 National Housing Population Census, out of 12 million homes in Kenya, 61% of Kenyans own the house they lived in, and questions have been raised over the fate of Kenyans who are homeowners and who are servicing mortgages.
The only issue is that in urban areas, most people prefer to rent, and they prefer to rent because they're not going to keep that house for forever. Many people have a fixed view about their 35 years of work, and then they perhaps hope to retire in a different place, so they're not trying to keep houses in ownership.
With Kenya having one of the most expensive construction materials, which informs the quality of homes, critics point out that the 7-year time frame locks contributors to the fund into a government system, with the state determining what kind of houses should exist. The proposed housing levy has been met with criticism by both employers and their salaried employees, and also opposed by opposition lawmakers. Ayub Abdikadir, Citizen TV.